Hello, this is Dr. Anthony Pasick at the Wellness Connection. Today, we're going to talk about our Springboard line of supplements. These are all kid-specific vitamins, perfect for this time of year. This is back to school. A lot of the challenges that come along with that are, being exposed to a bunch of other people, a bunch of other people's bacteria and viruses and all their germs and all that stuff, right? And there's a lot of challenges that can come along with that. So there's a lot of benefit in being aware of what's available in this product line. They're all made especially for kids, and they're all very friendly. Chewable items, liquids, powders, a lot of ease of use for even picky kids. So we have these for the whole month of August. These are all on sale at our office for 15% off. So we will go through some of the ones that we use regularly, and we'll show you what's available in that lineup. Okay. So the first thing we would look at is called Dehyst Junior, Dehyst, and that name, has kind of a maybe rings a bell of something you've heard of, right? Like an antihistamine. So Dehyst, clever name, right? It's about dehysting us, right? So what does that mean? Histamine is a lot of what's responsible for allergy type symptoms. So when you have itchy eyes or runny eyes or a really runny nose or kind of sneezing fits that hit us over and over again, anything that really as adults we would reach for a Claritin or a Allegra or Zyrtec or something like that. Those over-the-counter antihistamines. That's where Dehyst Junior comes in for kids. It is a little chewable tablet, so it's pretty easy to use. Dehyst Junior has things like vitamin C and quercetin and some bromelain in it. So that is a pineapple extract. So if you're aware of kids having a pineapple sensitivity, you might want to just use caution with that. And it's really something that's safe to take in fairly large amounts if needed. You don't need to worry about taking too much of Dehyst Junior. So, there's nothing, wrong with taking a few of them per day if there's really bad allergies. Even, up to, 4, 5, 6, there's not really an upper limit on these things. It's not like an antihistamine, a Zyrtec or a Claritin, the ones that we mentioned before. Those things can leave you feeling kind of drowsy. When it comes to these natural antihistamines, there is not really any concern about taking large amounts. And in fact, there's a little bit of benefit in that. We often recommend what's called a loading dose, where you would take a fair amount of these for a period of time at the beginning of allergy season, especially if your kids are prone to allergies as the seasons change. You could take a number of these per day for a number of weeks before the allergy season really kind of kicks in. So that's something that's quite effective that way. So Dehyst Junior, great option. It's a good thing just to have some around. There are two types of probiotics. Both of these use the word flora in them. So there's Flora Bites, which are chewable, little chewable options for a probiotic. There's also Flora Boost, which is a powdered option. That's a really good option. Flora Boost we've used with great effect in anybody. I mean, it's not just for kids. There's a lot of benefit even for adults to taking something like this. The ability to have a powder is great. There's a lot of great options for how to mix that in. Mix it in with juice or like a smoothie, for instance, or even applesauce, or for small babies even, it can be mixed in with formula or breast milk to deliver it that way. So there's a lot of versatility with that. Another great way to go with something like this is, and with other supplements in general, a good little trick is to make some type of smoothie or some type of blend of something, and then you can buy popsicle molds with little reusable sticks in a little cup that they come in, that you can then pour that smoothie mix in and then freeze them and make little popsicles out of. And kids really like that as an option because it definitely seems desserty in any form. And freezing it does tend to change the flavor. It can tend to kind of dampen down some intense flavors when things are frozen. So if there are certain supplements that you're having a hard time getting your kids to take, freezing them into a popsicle like that is a great option. So Flora Bites, Flora Boost, those are options as it comes to probiotics. A lot of times as we're working with kids, especially with gut symptoms and things like that, we'll be using some of those options. So those things are great. There is a kid vitamin D as well that's in the Springboard line. I believe one drop of those is 4,000 units. I'm sorry, one half of a dropper full. So inside the little container is one half of a dropper full is 400 units. So that's a pretty good low amount. It is often a good idea to at least know what your kid's vitamin D levels are. There's not necessarily a right amount of vitamin D for any individual to take. Some people require really large doses. Some people really don't require much supplementation at all. What you want is your blood levels to be between 50 and 60. That's kind of the sweet spot. Some people take a large amount of supplementation to get there, and on occasion we see people that really don't need to supplement at all to keep those levels there. So it is important to look at, but certainly that small amount, 400 units, and you can even be more conservative if you are shy about having blood testing done, because it can be a challenging experience for kids. Even doing something like a quarter of a dropper would be fine as well. So the Kid D, great option to kind of set a foundation. There's also Super Newts. Super Newts are basically the multivitamin. So that's a chewable formula as well, and comes in like a lemon flavor. So that kind of covers all of the foundational basics of that. So that's something that might want to just be part of the set it and forget it kind of mode. Now, there's a few others that we would use maybe a little bit more, as needed. Well, for the last foundational item would be Orthomega pearls. That's like a fish oil, right? So the fish oil, kids version, Orthomega, is something that could be foundational. Now, the other things are ones that we would maybe look at using a little bit more on an as-needed basis, and these are really, really versatile. So the first one would be Immumax. Immumax is vitamin C, propolis, rose hips, and echinacea. And echinacea is a really good sort of immune system support, an immune system booster. It can be useful in, like in acute infections, like colds or flus, that kind of thing. So that's something that's helpful to know about. That is a liquid. It does have I would say it's a moderately strong flavor, but it's got like a berry flavor to it. So it does have some some sugar added to it, some glucose to make it a little bit more palatable. It does have a sugar alcohol in it as well, sorbitol. But really, you're looking at a teaspoon of this stuff, so it's not like it needs to be of concern. But it is really good for immune system support in general here. Now, a new item that is only maybe a few months under our belt here is called ViraKid, and I'm excited about ViraKid. There used to be a formula called Natronix, so if you have been using these in the past, Natronix was a liquid that contained elderberry, and it tasted similar to that flavor. The Natronix is not being made anymore, so ViraKid is the kind of the replacement with those nutrients. It has other things in it as well. So ViraKid is really, I would consider it kind of a good sort of natural antiviral type approach here. Good for upper respiratory infections, and anytime we see kind of an acute, almost mystery illness, things that we can't quite pin down, viruses are often to blame, and many times it's viruses we don't even really know the name of. But ViraKid could be a really good strategy to help improving that, and that's chewable as well. Going back to the Immumax, Immumax does have potentially some benefit for and the ViraKid for things like sinus infections as well. Beyond the Dehyst is more of like an antihistamine kind of thing. ViraKid and the Immumax can be potentially useful for sinus infections. So that's often a concern. I'm suspecting my kid has some type of infection, sinus infection, ear infection, something like that. Do I have to take an antibiotic? The doctor just says you need to be on this antibiotic. Of course, we know that is going to cause problems, right? Problems in your gut and other problems. There's risks to taking antibiotics. So if there's a natural way to help resolve sinus infections, that could be a really good option. And then the last item that we have that's part of the Springboard line, it's not something that we use too often, but I'm seeing it here, is something called Ready, Set, Go, and that's a constipation fix as a liquid. So that's something that I would certainly consider if your child is struggling with some constipation. It's basically all plants. It's got plums and figs and some psyllium seed and some other seeds and ginger. They kind of work as a natural laxative. Miralax can be, often what's recommended as a first line, but that may not be the best route if you choose to go some way different. So I hope this was helpful. If there's anything that was brought up here that brings a question to mind, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, we do have these things again, as I mentioned, on sale, 15% off here for the month of August to get ready for back to school. Look forward to our next topic. We'll see you soon.